La 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 la. Hello, hello, hello. If you didn't know, I'm Siobhan. Welcome to my channel. The Reading Rush. I've never taken part in the Reading Rush before. If you don't know what it is, the Reading Rush is basically a readathon where you read as much as you possibly can in a week, I think a week, in July of every year. This year it's from July 20th to 26th. It's run by two booktubers, Ariel Bissett and Raylene LeMay. And basically it involves a lot of different challenges that you do throughout the week and reading as much as you possibly can within those 6 days. So Ariel and Raylene have just released their video where they talk about the challenges that are going to be part of the Reading Rush this year. I've never taken part before and I'm really excited to give it a go. So today I'm just going to be reacting to the challenges and having to think about how or what I might read that would fit in with the challenge video. I'm also going to be picking the books that I'm going to be reading during the Reading Rush. If you want to see me vlog during the Reading Rush, if you want to see my reaction to the books that I pick, don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, to press the bell so that you get all of the notifications when I post a new video. Okay, I have my trusty spare phone over here and my headphones. Let's do this.
Hello everybody! We're back with the most exciting news of all time. It's true. So the Reading Rush 2020 is going to be happening soon, and this is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the thing we get asked for the very most, and that is, what are the reading challenges? And we came up with these many months ago, and we've been keeping those secret. So I'm really excited to tell you what they are. Tell us about the first one, Erin.
So, the first one is to read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone.
I love their expressions. Right, so I am a Pisces, so my birthstone is aquamarine, I think. So that's like a light blue. Okay, I can think of some books with a light blue on the cover that I want to read. I'm sure that'll be pretty easy. Some books I recently read that are the perfect colour, but I've already read them, are This Is How You Lose the Time War and Her Royal Highness. And also I have Salt by Catrin Kean, which I did consider, but I want to read this before July. So for this one, I picked A Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste. And I recently picked up this book. I really want to read it. It's got that kind of like aquamarine-y blue on the cover, so I thought that counts. So my pick for the Reading Rush is this one. Future editing Siobhan popping in here to say I forgot to actually talk about what this book is about. So, from what I gather, it's about a mother and a daughter in an American suburb and a custody battle involving an adoption of a Chinese-American baby. I don't want to know much more than that. I know they made a TV series of this recently. I haven't seen it yet, but this has been getting all sorts of praise everywhere, so can't wait to read it for the Reading Rush.
What is the second challenge?
The second challenge, this one will either be very easy or very hard, depending on what kind of books you have.
Yeah.
And that is, read a book that starts with the word the.
Starts with the word the. I'm sure I have loads of books that start with the word the. The Book of Dust, maybe, by Philip Pullman. I've kind of been putting off from reading it because even though I love his dark materials with all of my heart, we all know that authors recently who've been revising their classic 90s kid amazing children's literature haven't been doing a great job, and I've heard some not so great things about some of the content of the Book of Dust, so I'm nervous about reading it, but maybe I have to. So for this one I ambitiously picked The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman, the second part, which is called The Secret Commonwealth. So to these there, no doubt. This is a thick one. I've been meaning to read it for months. Slightly dreading it because I don't know if it's going to be as good or live up to the original series, and I've heard some mixed things, but I feel like I need to read it and have an opinion. So this is the perfect thing that will motivate me to do it. It's long, so it may be a challenge to get through this. But I do have another book that I picked for one of the other prompts that also fits this category, just in case I fail to finish this on time.
The third challenge is to read a book that inspired a movie you've already seen.
Ooh, so this one's interesting, quite specific. Read a book that's inspired a movie you've already seen. I bet there's absolutely loads of these. I'm gonna have to think carefully about that one. That's a really good challenge because I bet there's loads of films that I've seen that are either adaptations or inspired by books that I haven't actually read. I wonder if they're talking about straight up adaptations or if they're talking about books that are just inspirations. So like, for example, with Station 11, I know that they perform a lot of Shakespeare in that book. Maybe I could read a Shakespeare play, but it's not an adaptation of a Shakespeare play. Let's see what they say.
This is a little bit of a play on our usual thing, because we always do read and watch a book to movie adaptation, and this year we wanted to mix it up a little bit, and we decided it would be really fun if you kind of had to do the opposite. So many of the movies we watch are based on books, and either you just like didn't know or you didn't care, but you never ended up reading the book.
So they seem to be talking specifically about adaptations or movies that are based on books.
So this you could do a movie you like or a movie you didn't like.
That's very true.
If you can't think of one, maybe find a book to movie adaptation and watch the movie first, and then in a couple weeks
there's
read
a
the
way
book.
around this.
That's true, you could do that. You could pick a book that you know has a film adaptation and watch the film first and then read the book. But I don't know, I think I would feel bad doing that because I like reading the book first normally, unless I don't know that there is a book or I don't think I'll like the book. So for the book that inspired a movie that I have seen, for this prompt I picked Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I absolutely love the Studio Ghibli animation of Howl's Moving Castle. I think it's so beautiful. It's my favourite Studio Ghibli film. Maybe controversially, I know a lot of people say Princess Mononoke is the best, but Howl has a special place in my heart. I've never read this book, and I have always wanted to, and I've been trying to persuade people to let me read it. We're in various book clubs and things, but I think I just need to bite the bullet and read it for this challenge. I've heard it's quite different from the films, so I'm intrigued.
Like my favorite because it's so insane.
Yeah.
And that is, people love the physical
It's a
ones.
wacky
They either
one.
love it or they hate the
Yeah.
physical ones. And this one is read the first book that you touch.
And see, up to interpretation.
Yeah, the first book you touch when? After I watch this video, or just like, oh, do I just like blindfold myself and go on my bookshelves? Like, I guess we could, but it sounds like it is up for a bit of interpretation. Let's see what they say.
So what I did personally is I made a stack of books that worked for one of the different challenges and then closed my eyes and then poked one, and then that was the one that I picked basically. But you can do this any way you want.
Right, so I think I'm going to do something quite special for this one, so I'll insert a little clip of me picking this book over here. These are the options of books that I am going to pick for my first book that I touched challenge, and basically my partner's going to shuffle them for me, and I'm going to pick one randomly with my eyes closed, and that's the one that I'm going to read. Let me know when you're ready. Okay, my eyes are totally closed. The books have been shuffled for me, so I'm just going to walk forward, make sure I don't bump into anything. Okay, I'm at the edge of the table, and with my eyes still closed, I'm going to pick a book. Okay, which one's this? Open my eyes. Book of Secrets by Kate Morrison. This is a story of a woman from the country that is now known as Ghana, who comes to the UK and rises up the ranks of Elizabethan society. So this is going to be a fun one to read for the Reading Rush.
The next one is also kind of a physical one, and it is to read a book completely outside of your house.
Completely outside of your house? I assume they mean like physically outside of where I live, as opposed to like outside of your wheelhouse, like something you would never read. That's interesting though, reading a book outdoors. It's gonna be an interesting one to do in kind of semi-lockdown times. I suppose I could go for a walk to the park, or even listen to an audiobook on a walk.
So, you can read it in your car, you could read it at the library if your library is open, you could read it at the park, etc. Safe distancing rules, everyone. Wear a mask in public. But whatever you do, you can't read it in your house. Even if you read one page of that book in your house, you ruined it.
Can I read it in my garden? Does that count? For this prompt, I decided to interpret it a little bit creatively. If you go on the Reading Rush website, Ariel and Raylene have clarified that obviously because of the pandemic, it's quite hard for people to read outside. And also, you know, there may be people who are shielding and things like that. So they said you can interpret this prompt a little bit more creatively. I am going to try and read this book outside as well because it is quite short. But I'm also going to go with The Outsider by Albert Camus. It's got outside in the title, so even if I don't end up reading it all outside, if I can't because of the weather or because of the pandemic, I at least have a book that fits this challenge. I am going to try and read it outside, but we'll see. This is a classic in philosophy and existentialism, and I've been meaning to read it for a while. I think it's on my first ever TBR. I still haven't read it, So now's the time. It also fits with the prompt about reading a book with "the" in the title, just in case I fail to read the Book of Dust in time.
The next one is to read a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. So your least read genre.
Okay. This might be, for me, graphic novels, because I haven't read many graphic novels. So for a book in a genre that I'd like to read more of, I have picked Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I want to read more graphic novels. I have only read 2 probably ever. Both of those have been on this channel, but I want to read more. And my friend lent me these. So I have actually volume 1 and volume 2 of these. So I thought now is the perfect time to read them for the reading rush, is to give Scott Pilgrim series a go. I absolutely loved Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley, and this also actually fits, I've just realised, the prompt about the film that you haven't read the book of. I've seen the film Scott Pilgrim and I haven't read these, so that's perfect for it as well, just in case I don't get through Howl's Moving Castle, which I'm sure I will.
Yeah. And the final challenge is to read a book that takes place on a different continent than where you live.
I absolutely love this one. This is kind of forcing you to broaden your horizons and to read just beyond like westernized literature, for example. So obviously our continent would be Europe, so I don't want to kind of just read an American book or something, that'd be boring. Would be cool if I read something from a country I've never read from before, maybe an Asian or an African country that I haven't read any literature from. So Little Fires Everywhere and Scott Pilgrim both fit these because they take place in North America, which is not the continent where I live in Europe, but I kind of wanted to pick one outside of North America as well if I could. So I've picked this book, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I think that's how you pronounce it. This one is set in Nigeria and America and London, which is in Europe, but it does have 2 continents that are outside of Britain, so I thought, and I really, really want to read it. It is about a couple who depart from a military-ruled Nigeria to the West, where they are forced to grapple with what being black in a Western country means, and the difficulties they face with that transition, and then how they reunite in Nigeria years later. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. So that's it, that's me. I picked my TBR for the reading rush. How exciting. I hope that you have enjoyed watching me pick these books. I really love the challenges. I think they really force you to think creatively. I think some people have mentioned that in light of recent events, in light of a lot of things being exposed about the booktube community and the lack of inclusion for people, maybe they could have taken that into account when thinking about the questions. Maybe having something more specifically about black authors and creators and trying to expand booktubers, reading and minds. I like the outside of your own continent challenge that forces you to think outside of your own cultural context, but maybe they could have done a bit more. That would be my only thought. Altogether, I really enjoyed picking these books. What do you think? Do you have any suggestions for me based on these challenges? What would you read when faced with these prompts? If you want to see me read these books and talk about them and what I thought about them, don't forget to subscribe and press the little bell so that you get notifications when I post videos. Please consider giving it a like and leaving a comment. All of that helps me just to get more engagement on my channel and to know which videos you're enjoying. So thank you very much for watching. Bye.